Welcome back. In March, Lizzie Fletcher emerged from a crowded field of talented candidates as the top vote getter in the Congressional District 7 Democratic primary. But before she can take on longtime Republican incumbent John Culberson, Fletcher must first win a runoff against fellow Democrat Laura Moser. This is a so-called battleground district carried by Hillary Clinton's 2016 presidential campaign, and many see Fletcher as the Democrat best equipped to pull off the flip. Lizzie Fletcher, welcome to the hot seat.
Thanks, Greg. Good to see you.
Hey, look, flood protection or the lack of it and recovery are huge issues in CD7. What are you hearing? What did Culberson not do, and what will you do as the representative from the district?
Well, I think what Culberson has failed to do for the last 17 years that he's been in office is advocate for our community and go to bat for us in terms of flooding protection and prevention. We know the year he took office, we had Tropical Storm Allison. And at that time, I was working at the Alley Theater, and I woke up to 20 feet of water in our building, and we spent years recovering. We know that Project Braze emerged from Tropical Storm Allison, but it's been long delayed and underfunded. And there were things that John Culberson could have done along the way to make sure that that project happened more quickly. But there are infrastructure projects. We've known since 2009 that Addicks and Barker were some of the most dangerous dams in the country, and we've done nothing. So it's really a record of inaction. And I think that we need somebody who's going to go to Washington and be an advocate for us and be a partner with us, work with the city and the county to address flooding. Hugely
diverse district. Immigration and border security are big issues. DACA kids remain in limbo, and we're pouring billions into boots and bricks for a wall. If you go to Congress, what's your position on these critical issues?
Well, I think we need comprehensive immigration reform. We need to pass a Clean Dream Act, and I hope that that's done before I get there. But we need comprehensive immigration reform, and I think that a few years ago, when the bill was proposed, the Gang of Eight bill in 2013 that Chuck Schumer introduced in the Senate, passed with broad bipartisan support, the House wouldn't even take it up. We need to start, and I think that's a great framework, but we've got to address both undocumented immigrants, people who are going through the process but it's taking far too long, and then people who have no way to get here and to become a part of the process. And I think that we need to clear up the conversation about, there's a lot of misinformation about immigration. We need to have a real national conversation and come up with a comprehensive reform.
Lizzie, Laura Moser has said that she'll battle for a single-payer healthcare system. Now, do you agree, and is universal healthcare something that we can afford?
Well, I think universal health care is the goal. I think that every American should have access to good health care. The question is, how do you get there? And the devil's always in the details with these major legislative efforts. Right now, there are 5 different bills in Congress. I think the Democrats have signaled this is a top priority for the next session. And when we're in the majority, we're going to tackle it because the Affordable Care Act was a good first step. But what we're hearing now from so many people is that they can't get access to good care, they can't get good coverage, they can get plans that don't have enough coverage, that people like the coverage for pre-existing conditions. They like being able to have the ability to move jobs and get insurance in the marketplace, but the options are too few. And I think that what we have to do is move forward with the ACA and continue to repair the things that we know aren't working. And that starts with negotiating for prices for prescription drugs. I believe we should put the public option back on the table, and there's a bill in Congress right now to do that. Or we can talk about having competition for some of these programs so that more people can get access to care.
Lizzie, there are Republicans who are saying that their tax proposal that passed through Congress is a big win for Texans and CD7. Others see it as a big win for corporations and the already wealthy. What's your read?
Well, I wish it were a big win for Texans and all Americans because Americans deserve a tax code that's simple and fair. I don't think that the GOP tax bill did that. If you look at the details, 83% of the tax cut went to the top 1%, and the middle class tax cuts were not made permanent. I'm all for a middle class tax cut. I think that we absolutely need that, but we need to look at how we're implementing it. And I think that we will see next year how it plays out, but I don't think that it's going to be the win for our district that the Republicans are saying it is.
Last question. Is your opponent too liberal to attract moderate voters in a successful bid to knock out John Culberson. And why are you the Democrat who can do that?
Well, Greg, I view John Culberson as my opponent. There have been a lot of Democrats vying for this spot, and I think I'm the best one to take him on because I've spent the last decade or so representing Houstonians from all walks of life. I know what it means to be a representative, and I've done a great job of representing my clients. I've lived in this community my entire life, and I have been working in this community to make it better, and that's what we need in Congress, an advocate and a partner with our community who's going to put our community first, and that's what I'm ready to do.
Lizzie Fletcher, thanks for being here.
Thanks so much, Greg.
We'll talk to you again soon. When we come back, hobbled by allegations of past violence and academic dishonesty, the leader of Katie's schools hears from voters. Stay with us.